Justin Trudeau's Liberal government has put in place many different censorship bills, which has made it very difficult to get the news in Canada. In fact, after Justin Trudeau's censorship bills, Bill C-18 and Bill C-11, on certain social media platforms, you can't actually see the news anymore if you're in Canada. So he's had these two bills, C-18, C-11. These bills have also, frankly, put startup media journalists out of business. So there's a censorship agenda, but he topped all of that last year with the introduction of Bill C-63, the so-called online harms bill. Now, many of you have been following this bill, and some of you think it's dead because Justin Trudeau has suspended Parliament. It is not dead, and I want to explain to you why. The other thing that I need you to do as we go through this threat of censorship is I need you to click on the link that's in the comments and click subscribe. I've been trying to come up with ways to directly communicate with you so that Justin Trudeau's censorship agenda, it affects social media platforms, it affects so many different things, that as it comes online, that I can still communicate with you. And in this time of national crisis, as Parliament is suspended, I'm trying to come to you with as much information as possible that might not be getting reported on the mainstream media, or you might not be seeing because of these censorship bans. There's a link in the comments if you're watching this on Facebook. If you're watching this on YouTube, the link is in the video description. It's free. And as I go through like how crazy it is that this bill is not dead, the one thing that you can do to help is to click subscribe so that I can keep communicating with you about things like this so that you know what's going on. It's one of the biggest things that you can do to help me, help other Conservatives right now, is click subscribe so that we can keep you up to date as Parliament is suspended. Okay, so Bill C-63, the online harms bill. This bill, of course, those of you who have been following it, you know it's been called Orwellian by people that aren't conservative, like Margaret Atwood, for example, one of Canada's foremost authors, called it Orwellian. It created thought crimes, and I'm not making any of this up. I mean, you can just Google it if it'll get through Justin Trudeau's censorship bans. Thought crimes for speech crimes that you haven't committed. It creates this massive censorship bureaucracy where people can complain to each other about, you know, having their feelings hurt, and then somebody would have to go through an entire trial in a kangaroo court. It is just everybody of all political stripe have talked about how this would just put an absolute chill on speech in Canada more than it already has been. So some people have been saying, and there have been some media reports, that Bill C-63 is dead because Justin Trudeau did something called prorogue Parliament, or suspend it. When Parliament is suspended, what happens is that bills fall off the order paper. But there's a big loophole that nobody in the mainstream media is talking about. And I'm going to walk you through that right now. But again, as I walk through this with you guys, you're going to see how important it is for you to click subscribe. It's a free subscription. It allows me just to communicate with you directly in spite of all of these censorship things. Okay, so at the end of March, Parliament has to return. So for a wide variety of reasons. So Parliament is going to return on March 24th. Now, at that point in time, the government will likely face a confidence vote. Most people are saying, oh, well, just Jagmeet Singh, he's been out saying that he's going to vote non-confidence. We're going to be in an election. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now that Jagmeet Singh is just looking for an excuse to prop the Liberal government up. He does not want an election. And if you need proof of that, you can just look to some of his senior caucus members who have been out saying that they will support the Liberals no matter what, no matter who's in charge. And there's, again, if you click on the link in the comments, these are the things I'm coming to you, to your inbox and telling you about. So it's actually a high degree of possibility that the NDP will support the Liberals, whoever the next leader is, and not call an election, not have an election until God knows when. We hope the fall, but whatever. So there's a high degree of likelihood that the NDP will support the Liberals. And we know that the Liberals are looking for a deal with the NDP. One of their leadership candidates this week said that they don't want an election in the spring. Of course they don't. So you can guarantee that there's a high possibility that right now those leadership camps are all talking with the NDP about supporting them after their leadership is over. So if the Liberals get the support of the NDP, which they very well are likely to do at the end of March, they can use a procedural trick to reinstate government bills at the same stage that they were being read at before prorogation. So what does that mean for the online harms bill, so-called online harms bill, the massive censorship bill, Bill C-63? Well, right before Parliament rose at the end of last year, Liberal Justice Minister Arif Rani twice in the House of Commons tried to ram that bill through on something called a unanimous consent motion. And it was Conservatives, it wasn't the NDP, it was Conservatives who stopped that because of all of the massive censorship implications. So here you've got the Liberals. They've already telegraphed that they're going to ram this through the House of Commons. This was before the House rose at the end of last year. You've got the NDP who didn't stop them. The NDP who are likely to support them because they don't want to go to an election at the end of March, and this procedural loophole that the government can use to reinstate bills at the stage that they were being read. And of course, if the NDP were going to support them at the end of March to not have an election, they are going to do what? They're going to support these bills being resurrected as well. So you can see that the Liberals are doing this, and this is why, like, share this video, first of all, so that people understand that this bill is not dead. But this is why I need you to click subscribe, because I think that the Liberals want to have every censorship tool in place prior to the next election, because they want to be able to suppress dissenting voices. They want to be able to suppress people that are speaking the truth. A good example of that this week, and I talk about this in the article that's in the link in the comments, is this week the Canadian Border Services Agency started calling the act of someone walking across the border at a non-official point of entry illegal. If you remember, for years, when Justin Trudeau came in, his Liberal government, his immigration ministers, and the entire mainstream media vilified people who called that act illegal. They called it irregular. They tried to suppress those voices. And what happened? It normalized the, loss of integrity at the border. And it's only now under threat of American tariffs that they're backtracking on this. But you can see that the Liberals and that the woke left, they try to use these censorship tools, even just by like saying you can't say that, by canceling people, but they also do it through legislation. We've seen this with Bill C-11, Bill C-18, which has resulted in social media bans. But C-63, guys, if it passes it, woe betide anybody who wants to speak against the Liberal government. And I think they want this in place. Both the Liberals and the NDP want this in place before the next federal election. So it is a high degree of likelihood that the NDP will support the Liberals at the end of March. And then when they do that, they will reinstate bills like Bill C-63, the online harms bill, ahead of a federal election. They will try to ram it through the House of Commons just like they did before the House rose at the end of December. So what I'm trying to do during this period of time as a member of Parliament, they have tried to take away my voice by suspending Parliament. Parliament isn't sitting right now. They've taken away the ability of my constituents to have their concerns heard in things like parliamentary committees or in House of Commons debate. They're running the country like unilateral authoritarians. So what I'm trying to do is communicate to you as much as possible about what I'm hearing, the information that I'm getting, and also to try and fight back on some of these things. And how you can help me is by sharing this video so that things that aren't getting reported in the mainstream media can get out to a wider audience, and also allowing me the honor of being able to directly communicate with you by clicking on the link that's in the comments or in the video feed if you're watching this on YouTube. The link that's in there today is, if you want to go through it, it's a wrap up of everything that happened in Ottawa in Canadian sort of high level politics that impact your day-to-day living that aren't necessarily getting reported on the mainstream media. And, I'm trying to do these things because I'm trying to figure out every way possible as the Liberals push through this censorship agenda, shut down Parliament, think about reinstating bills like C-63, to be able to communicate with you and fight back. So for those of you who might be saying like, oh, well, at least Bill 63 is dead, guys, no, it's very likely is a zombie bill. Just watch. And we've got to fight to make sure that that doesn't happen. We have to put pressure on the NDP and other politicians so that if they're tempted to do these things, that temptation is taken away. We cannot allow this censorship agenda in Canada to be followed through, particularly prior to the next federal election, which is going to be one of the most important elections in Canadian history. So click share this video, click subscribe, please. I will be coming to you with as many updates as possible during this time of suspension of Parliament and trying to bring you information like this that you're not going to hear anywhere else. Working hard for you. Have a great day.